Welcome to my algebra class. We are on chapter 3, section 1. We're going to be solving equations, and we're going to use two properties that allow us to do the same thing to both sides. One's called the addition property of equality, which states that if I have an equation, for example 6 equals 3 plus 3, and I add the same thing to both sides, 6 plus 2 equals 3 plus 3 plus 2, I still have the equation. I still have it equal, two sides that are equal. 8 equals 8. And that also works with subtraction. So if I have 6 equals 3 plus 3, and I subtract the same thing from both sides, 6 minus 2 is equivalent to 3 plus 3 minus 2. So I get 4 equals 4. So as long as I add or subtract the same thing from both sides, I still have an equation. We're going to use transformations to solve equations. One transformation will be using a substitution. That means that if I can solve or rewrite a phrase, a mathematical phrase in a shorter form, I can do that. So 8 minus 9 is the same as negative 1. And I've actually solved the equation. Transforming by addition means that I'm going to add the same thing to both sides to find x by itself. So in this case, I'm going to add 11 to both sides to solve for x, because I want to get rid of the minus 11. So x is now by itself, and I have my answer, which is 30. So you always do the opposite on the side with the variable, because you're trying to get the variable by itself. You can always check your answers. If I put 30 back in for x, 30 minus 11 is 19. And this is transformation by subtraction. I want to get rid of the plus 14. I want the opposite of that, which would be minus 14. When I solve, the opposites go out, so that leaves me n on the right, and negative 8 and negative 14 make negative 22. And again, I can check that. Negative 8 should equal negative 22 plus 14, and it does. That concludes the notes or the vocabulary. You need to find your paper for your assignment. Open your book to page 97. Heading on your paper, skip a line title, and we're ready to start with the evens. Problem number 2, we have y minus 9 equals 17. I want y by itself, so the opposite of minus 9 is plus 9, and I do it to both sides. Opposites go out, y equals 26. Skip a line, problem 4, copy it, x plus 15 equals 27. I'm going to solve for x, so I'll subtract 15 from both sides to get rid of the plus 15. Opposites make 0, so those go out. X equals 12. 27 minus 15. And you can check 12 plus 15 makes 27. 26 minus 9 makes 17. Number 6, negative 49 plus n equals 63. I'm going to get rid of the negative 49 to get n by itself, so you add, the opposite would be to add 49. So now n is by itself, and 63 plus 49 makes 112. Skip a line, number 8, x minus 26 equals 18. I'm going to solve for x. I have minus 26, do the opposite, and that will get rid of it, add 26. So now x is by itself, and the answer, 18 plus 26 makes 44. Problem 10, y plus 32 equals negative 45. I'm going to solve for y, so the opposite of adding 32 is subtract 32 to get rid of that adding 32. That leaves you y equals negative 77. The signs are the same, add, keep the sign. Problem 12, 0 equals z minus 14. I'm going to solve for z, so I have minus 14. The opposite of that is to add 14. We do it to both sides to balance the equation. So we get 14 equals z. Problem 14, negative 32 plus b equals 82. We want to get rid of the minus 32, so the opposite would be to add 32. That leaves us b on the left, and if we add these two positive numbers, I get 114. Problem number 16, x minus 8 equals 25. Solving for x, the opposite of minus 8 is to add 8 to both sides. So x equals 33. Skip a line, 18, we have g minus 6 equals 14 minus 8. Now here's where we're going to use substitution. You should never start transforming until both sides are in simplest form. The left is fine, but the right, 14 minus 8, we could substitute that with 6. Now I can begin the transformations. Minus 6, I would add 6 to get rid of that. So g equals 12. Problem number 20. We have x minus 97 equals negative 105. Get rid of minus 97, we would add 97 to both sides. So x equals, the signs are different, we would subtract, it would be negative 8. 22, we have negative 1.8 plus h equals negative 3.8. We want to get rid of the negative 1.8, so add 1.8 to both sides. Those are opposites, they drop. A negative and a positive we would subtract, so we would get negative 2, since there's more of the negative. And problem 24, 3.9 equals y plus 1.2. We want to solve for y, so we want to get rid of the plus 1.2, so we subtract 1.2 from both sides. That leaves on the left 2.7 and y on the right, so y is equal to 2.7. The next section you're going to see the variable have an opposite sign in front of it, so that's going to affect our answer. So 26, the opposite of y plus 5 equals 17. We want to get this by itself, so we still subtract 5 from both sides. Now we have the opposite of y equals 12. Therefore, y must be the opposite of what number makes 12. Y must be negative 12. So if you have a problem like this that says the opposite equals something, then the number you're looking for is the opposite of what it equals. And you can check it out. The opposite of negative 12 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. 28, 9 minus y equals 16. We want to get y by itself. So first we have to subtract 9 from both sides to get rid of the 9. So now we have the opposite of y equals 7. Therefore y must be negative 7. And you can check it. 9 minus a negative 7 is the same as 9 plus 7, which makes 16. Problem 30, 11 equals 32 minus y. We get y by itself, so we have plus 32. We need to subtract 32 from both sides. Signs are different, so subtract 11 from 32. We get 21, and there's more of the negative. So negative 21 equals the opposite of y. Therefore, y must equal positive 21. Check it. 11 equals 32 minus 21. That does make 11. Problem 32. We have 7 equals negative 12 plus e. When we get e by itself, the opposite of minus 12 is to add 12. So that gives us 19 equals e. Number 34, we have c plus 2 in parentheses plus 8 equals 4. And again, we cannot start the transformations until both sides are simplified. I can add the 2 and the 8 together and substitute and make that 10. So now there's nothing I can do to the left or the right. I can begin transforming. Get rid of the plus 10 by subtracting 10. So we have C equals negative 6. Since the signs were different, I subtracted and took the sign of the negative 10, since there's more of it. 36, you have 2 equals 10 plus the quantity x minus 2. I can ignore the parentheses since there's nothing in front except the plus sign. So I need to simplify the right. 10 and a negative 2 make 8 plus x. Nothing else to do, so I can begin transforming. I want to get rid of the 8, get x by itself, so I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. 2 and a negative 8 make negative 6, so my answer is negative 6. And you can check it. 10 plus a negative 6 and a negative 2 make negative 8. 10 plus a negative 8 is 2. 38, we have negative 2 plus the quantity 1 plus p equals 5. Again, simplify the left side used by substitution, and negative 2 and 1 make negative 1 plus p. Only after you simplify the left and the right can you start transforming. I want to get rid of the negative 1, so I'm going to add 1. So p equals 6. Number 40. I have a quantity a minus 3 plus 19 equals 125. I have to simplify the left. A negative 3 and a positive 19 makes 16. Nothing left to simplify, so transform. I want to get rid of the plus 16, get a by itself, so subtract 16. And we have a equals 109. The 4 minus the quantity 1 plus x equals 5. Okay, simplify first, and since I have a minus sign in front of the parentheses, I have to take the opposite of everything. So it's 4 minus 1, and negative times positive is negative x equals 5. Then continue simplifying. 4 minus 1 is 3 minus x equals 5. Getting the x by itself, we want to get rid of the 3, so we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. So now we have negative x equals 2. So if the opposite of x equals 2, then x equals negative 2. You can check that 1 plus a negative 2 is a negative 1. 4 minus a negative 1 is 4 plus 1, which makes 5. 44. 1 equals negative 2 minus the quantity 4 minus w. Get rid of the parentheses. Simplify the right side by distributing the opposite signs. So the opposite of 4 is negative 4, or negative times positive 4 is negative. And a negative times a negative w is positive w. Still need to simplify the right side. A negative 2 and a negative 4 make negative 6 plus w. Nothing left to do except transform and get w by itself. I want to get rid of the minus 6, so I add 6. So I have 7 equals w. And it works. 4 minus 7 is negative 3. A negative 2 minus the negative 3 is negative 2 plus 3. It makes 1. 46. You have problems with absolute value signs, so if remember, absolute value can have two possible answers. We have the absolute value of y minus 2 equals 8. I'm going to add 2 to both sides to get the absolute value by itself. So now I have the absolute value of y equals 10. There are two numbers whose absolute value distance from 0 is 10, and that is 10 and negative 10. Be sure you show each step as I did here for your odds. 48, you have negative 7 plus the absolute value of x equals 0. I'm going to get the absolute value first by itself, so I'm going to add 7 to both sides. So now we have the absolute value of x equals 7. There are two numbers whose distance is 7 spaces from 0, 7, and negative 7. Problem number 50, the absolute value of x plus a negative 2 equals 4. We get the absolute value by itself, so we're going to add 2 to both sides. So now we have the absolute value of x equals 6. Two numbers have a distance of 6 from 0, 6, and negative 6. 52. 0 equals negative 5 plus the absolute value of r. Get the absolute value of r by itself. We're going to add 5 to both sides. So we have 5 equals the absolute value of r. There are two numbers whose distance is 5 from 0. So r could equal negative 5 or 5. That concludes the evens. Be sure that you check each odd answer as you do the problems. You will find that one of these answers with the absolute value comes out no solution. See if you can figure out why. Get help as needed, please.